kind of stupid. Yeah, I don't think I'm gonna do that. It's been like 5 weeks since I posted last, and yeah, in that time I've done a bit. I went on a 2.5 week trip to Europe, and then on the way back I got my complimentary case of COVID. So that was fun. But anyway, the fun part was going to Europe, where I have not been since I was 16. Went to Paris and Sicily and Switzerland and some parts of Italy, including Florence and the Cinque Terre, which is a very nice spot. I just went to one town there. Did not go to all of them because there was too many and I just wanted to relax after the 2.5 weeks I had. So there you go. Yeah, I've been wanting to make this video for a little while, but yeah, as I said, I got sick and that was not and that was not very fun. So here's that video. I think I'd like to do a video. I'd like to cover all the places that I went and all the photos that I took and the fun that I had, but I'm not gonna get through them all in just one video. I think it would just be too long. So please enjoy this first video. I think there are maybe 3. So anyway, when you're going overseas as a photographer, what are you to pack? And so, like any good photographer, I packed 3 cameras, and they were my M4, my Contax T2, and my Leica Q2, because you know, you need a digital option. On this trip, I decided to splurge on film as much as I wanted, because it's not every day or every month or even every year that you go to Europe, so I thought, why not? I pre-purchased 4 Pro Packs of the Portra 400 35mm variety. I bought them over time, and I did not buy them all at once because nowhere in Sydney had them before I went. I had also bought 5 rolls of XP2, which is a black and white film, and I had a few loose rolls of HP5, which is a different black and white. And I did not use all the black and whites because I was having too much fun with the color stuff. In retrospect, I would have liked to have changed that though. And to be honest, I think now that that trip is over, I'm going to be scaling back on shooting film as much. It's just gotten too expensive. I'm honestly more than happy to shoot digital, and most of my clients want digital anyway. So anyway, I shot a lot. So yeah, first stop was in Switzerland for a day where I picked up my friend who is living there. We've been friends for a long time, and it's just good to have a bro week. A week of broing and hanging out as bros. Spent the day there, and then the next day we got the train to Paris. We got the fast train to Paris, which is supposed to be like 3 or 4 hours. For some reason, on this day, they made us change a few times, and it took 6. So watch out for that. So we had 4 days in Paris, and they were all great. One thing that was kind of a love-hate situation for me was how bright it is all day. It was like sun up until 10:30 p.m. and some days almost 11 o'clock. And that is good and also bad because I like to sleep. Mostly good. It meant that we could have fun and see more of Paris as we went, but it was also just really hot. It was like 36 to 38 degrees all the way up until 10 p.m. So there wasn't a whole lot of relief from that. But, you know, Paris is where I filmed the least footage on my phone. I think that's just because I forgot and because I just wanted to have a good time and just take pictures and not worry about getting clips of everything as I went. So, oh well, I was just happy to be not in Sydney. One thing I'm really glad that I did, which I would recommend to anyone traveling, is I wrote a travel journal. So I just, at the end of every day, of every morning, of every day after, I would just sit for 15 minutes and write down everything we did the day before and just have that kind of documented. Because as much as photos will tell you visually what happened, it's nice to think about and relive the experiences you had and kind of how you felt about things as they happened. as well as just having a thorough documentary, so you can remember those places that you went to eat when your friends inevitably ask you, where did you go in Paris to eat? And you can say, well, I went to these places because I wrote them down. And you're a good friend if you've done that, and you have things to recommend to your friends. So there you go. So naturally, after 6 hours on the train, we arrive in Paris, and the first thing that your boys need is some food. So we stop at this place, and we are not yet quite ready to be going for the escargot or the traditional French cuisines. So we went to this Italian place, and it was excellent. It was possibly one of the better meals that I had while I was in Europe, and it was lovely. I had this meatball. I still dream about them. After this, we went to find some coffee, like some regular Australians, and by this point we were ready because I think I'd had one of those iced coffees that is like out of the fridge in the equivalent of a Woolworths. So I was ready for an espresso, that's for sure. We went to this place called Dose in Paris. Highly recommend it. It was lovely. I really liked the design in the place. It was really pretty. There are lots of big gold sheet panel metal on the wall. That sounds terrible, but it looked really nice. The coffee was pretty good, so I was a happy boy. In that afternoon, I took myself out to the Moulin Rouge, which is about 10 minutes walk from where we were staying. Unfortunately, Ewan McGregor and Nicole Kidman were not there, which is, to be expected, considering that movie was like 10, 20 years ago. Walked around there for about an hour in the afternoon and shot some XP2. And I don't know if it's user error, but I don't know. I don't think I really like XP2 as much as I thought I was going to. The reason I was drawn to it is because it's a C41 process, which means it's a little bit cheaper at some places to have it developed. As far as black and white goes, I think it can be like $20 to have it developed in the E10 process. So you win some, lose some. As far as I'm concerned, I wasn't crazy about it. I don't know if I just am bad at this, but they seem to kind of come out washed out looking. I did my best to correct them in Lightroom, but I don't know, who knows, maybe I'll be better in the future. In particular, I like this one of these two old dudes just chatting across the road. We were just waiting for the lights to change, and they were kind of yelling at each other across the road in French, and I thought that was pretty cute. I also like this one of a woman and her bike just walking up the street. I'd say this is one of those typical Parisian images you kind of have to get. A French woman in a black dress with a bike on the cobblestone. It's about as French as it gets. I wrote it down in my journal, but this little walk around session at Moulin Rouge was nothing special, and I feel like I was still warming up. I think I hit my stride with the street stuff a bit later on in the trip. So while we were walking around after a couple of drinks, we were looking for some food, and this time I decided to just walk around with my Q2, just to take pictures as we went. Took some drive-by street photos, and I'm pretty happy with how these ones came out. And I enjoyed shooting a bit later in the day around dinner time. I think that's in summer when the locals decide to come out and start having fun, is a bit later around dinner time. So I think that's maybe where I went wrong shooting the Moulin Rouge. I should have just gone out a bit later. And I think this continued to kind of be the theme for our time in Paris, in the sense that we didn't realize that everything like coffee shops or bakeries kind of don't open until 10 o'clock in the morning, and everyone likes to sleep in a lot. And us in Australia are at least up at 6 or 7 in the morning. Not me personally, but that's that's the culture here a bit more. So that seems to be the theme, that the locals like to get up late and then hang out late, and it's kind of fun. So once we kind of got into that mentality, it made it a lot easier for us to have fun. After a while walking around and taking great bangers, we found this awesome diner and decided to have a burger. Mine, I had this chicken burger with a huge serving of Gouda cheese on it, and it blew my mind. It was possibly the best burger I ever had, and I had it again very shortly after. We had it again. I don't know how I feel about repeating meals when you go traveling, but as far as I'm concerned, I made the right call. After dinner, we kind of just turned it in and were ready for bed because it was a big day. One thing we didn't realize is that we were going to be in Paris for Bastille Day, which is like their holiday, their national holiday, or I don't know if it's a national holiday, but it was the holiday in Paris that we were there for. We, being from Australia, thought this would be a much bigger deal than it seemed like it was. Yeah, Australia and the US go pretty hard on the national holidays, like 4th of July and Australia Day are kind of a big deal culturally. Culturally a spicy topic, but in terms of celebrating and partying, Australia likes to go pretty big on Australia Day. But as far as we could tell, Bastille Day, at least this year, was fairly moderate. But I'll get to that a bit later. So our first stop for Bastille Day was coffee again and breakfast again, as you do when you exist. You get up and you want to eat and you want to drink coffee. And so we had a look around and we found this place, and it was a breath of fresh air at KB Coffee Roasters in Pagali. I was very excited to be having a good coffee, and so I had two at the one time, and a scone or a scone, however you want to say that word. Great choice. I cannot sing the praises of KB Coffee Roasters any higher. They were great and very busy a lot of the time. It was good to see. With this quality coffee experience first thing in the morning, we're both pretty happy, and so it set the tone for the day to have a nice coffee. Yeah, also as a side note, I just added this in when writing the script out. There are a lot of like beautiful doors in Paris. I don't know if this is a weird observation for me to make, but there are just lots of lovely doors on apartment blocks or just like any of the buildings going down. I took a bunch of photos over the 4 days we were there, and I don't know, I thought they were cool, and so I'll put them up on the screen for you. You should be looking at them right now. Yeah, after coffee and brekkie, we went shopping at the Marais, and I went a bit light on photos at this point because I wanted to enjoy myself, and I didn't want to force images where there weren't any to be had, and I just wanted to have fun because I just don't believe that you should always be shooting, because this is my trip and I'm going to do what I want, and if I don't want to shoot, I'm not gonna. This next part's going to mess me up. After shopping for a bit, we stopped to have lunch. We stopped to have lunch in the Jewish Quarter, and Mitchell was jimmying for some falafel. So we had some falafel, and I didn't realize that it was going to come at a rather great cost, in the sense that for the next 24 hours, these two men on the screen, these two were the gassiest and stinkiest boys for the next 24 hours. Like, I did not want to be in the same room with Mitch or myself because it was atomic. Anyway, our Bastille Day adventures continue. We went for a walk along the Champs-Élysées and made our way to the Eiffel Tower for the fireworks, for the Bastille Day fireworks. And this was relatively late in the afternoon after some dinner. I don't know what we had for dinner that night, I can't remember. I don't know everything. Must have not been very interesting. We walked up and down the Champs-Élysées just to check it out. I've been there before, Mitch has been there before. Nice. We made our way down to the Eiffel Tower, probably 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, and this whole time I'm just shooting on film. We were tossing up whether we'd actually stay for the fireworks, given that our own experiences at home, seeing New Year's fireworks, Australia Day fireworks. If you get caught trying to go home, you're battling for like a couple of hours. So we were deciding whether we're gonna grab this evening by the horns and just ride it the whole way out, or if we're gonna pack it in a bit early and go and, I don't know, watch the fireworks online or something. So anyway, we went down to this little spot by the river just to see what people do for Bastille Day and how they celebrate, and it was pretty chill. It was safe and like lots of families out. People aren't getting wasted in the street like they do in Australia. Sorry, but that's what they do. For this kind of part of the evening, it was getting a bit darker, so I got my flash on the M4 as we went. And some of these I'm actually pretty happy with. Like, I don't often shoot with flash on my M4, except maybe one time in Sydney. So it was a fun experience, and I'm pretty happy with these results. After all this, as I said, after all this, as I said, we were thinking about whether we would hang around for the fireworks, and I had just had this kind of light bulb moment and was like, well, why don't we go up to the Sacre-Cœur, which is a cathedral, which is kind of up high, and you have a nice view over the city. And so we go there, and it's packed. There's heaps of people there, maybe like 1,000 people there on the steps on the way up to the Sacre-Cœur, having the same idea that we had. And at 11 o'clock, when it's fireworks time, can't see anything. There's trees covering the spot where the fireworks are going off, so we can't see anything. And I kid you not, I heard some other Aussie girl go, "You'd think with all these people here, someone would know that this is a crap spot to come for the fireworks." So same dude. The next day I went to the YSL museum, which was pretty interesting. I enjoyed it. If you have a chance, I recommend you go check it out if you're into fashion. I walked around on this day I kind of walked around solo with the Q2 while Mitch was writing his book. He just wanted some time while Mitch wrote his book. I bought myself a painting and we met up for lunch. I'm pretty sure we both had I'm pretty sure this is when we had the chicken burger again, and it was just as good the second time. I think if I did it again, if I went to Paris again, I would dedicate more time to being out on the street and shooting street by, I reckon, a couple of hours more. I think I would dedicate more time to just doing that, chilling out on the street and just watching people. I think I would have just done this more at dinner time. I would have just had an early dinner and gone out on my own. I mean, that's like the trade-off with traveling with people, is you do stuff together, and that's totally fine. I'm not pissed that I didn't get to shoot street every day. To be honest, if I did, I would have been wrecked. I would have been so tired. And some days I didn't really feel like it. Like, some days I just got sick of like loading film and winding everything and light metering everything, and I got sick of it. And like, I'm saying that, and I know I'm speaking to someone who has felt that before as well. Like, some days you just don't feel like the hassle of taking film photos, and that's fine. And so that's kind of my experience. I think, if I was to do it again, I'd go in a different season. And the more I'm shooting street and the more I'm out there, I'm having a better idea of what I want my kind of focus to be, I think I want to see more fashionable people. I want to see like what local fashion is like, and I think summer is not really the best season to do that. I think people are wearing shorts and t-shirts and some summer dresses, and that's kind of the vocabulary of summer fashion just about everywhere. So I think going in spring or autumn or even winter, if I'm feeling brave enough, I think they'd be interesting times of the year to go and do street in Paris. I think I was really hoping to see some more fashionable styles out there, but it was just too hot, and that's fine with me. I had a great time regardless. And so before I end the video, I do want to take a sec to say thank you to everyone who just poured out support on the last video. I did not expect it to get that many views or that many comments or that many likes, and to be honest, I'm just thankful and impressed and confused and whatever. And yeah, I'm sorry this one took so long to put up. That last video too did a whole lot better than I thought it was going to, and I'm really appreciative of that, and appreciative of people who took the time to respond. And some people wrote some huge responses, like essay level, like 2,000 word. Like I feel like I have to give it a grade or something and mark it, but it was great. I really appreciate everyone who showed up for my first talking head video. It's weird to me, so thank you. I get this is a bit of a different style video, rather than me just talking to the camera about cameras. I have a couple more videos that are like that, but this one's kind of just for me, a bit more of a documentary of my trip in a different way. And yeah, I don't know, I hope you enjoy it, because there's going to be 2 more whether you like it or not. So love to have you along for the ride. All right, I'm gonna stop talking now. See you later.